2025 is coming to an end, and before we step into 2026, I want you to pause for just 3 minutes for one very simple thing. You might not be struggling with money. Bills get paid, things are mostly fine. And yet, every time you think about your finances, there's this quiet heaviness, like something isn't quite settled, even if you can't explain why. This video isn't asking you to fix everything. You don't need a detailed plan, and you don't need to make big decisions today. We're just going to take small, clear steps to make your money feel easier to look at and easier to live with. As I wrapped up 2025, I narrowed things down to 10 specific things you should do with your money before stepping into 2026. They're practical, short, and designed for busy people who don't want money taking up extra space in their head. In this video, we'll go through each one together, and the first step is something that helps you see your money more clearly almost immediately, so let's start there. Alright, let's start with the first one, and honestly, this is the one that makes everything else possible. You don't need to be good with money, you don't need to understand investing, budgeting apps, or financial terms. If money has always felt intimidating to you, this is where that pressure stops. Because all we're doing here is getting clear on 3 numbers, that's it. Here's the hook, most people don't feel stressed about money because they're bad at it. They feel stressed because everything is blurry. When things are blurry, your brain fills the gaps with worry. And I was the same way. I avoided looking because I assumed it would be overwhelming. But when I finally did this, I was honestly surprised by how simple it was and how much lighter I felt right after. So here are the 3 numbers. First, roughly how much money comes in during a typical month. Not exact, just a realistic average. Second, roughly how much goes out each month. Again, no categories, no spreadsheets, just the big picture. Third, at the end of the month, do you usually have money left over, break even, or come up short? That's it. You can write this on a sticky note. You can say it out loud. You can think it through in your head while making coffee. This isn't about accuracy, it's about orientation. Like looking at a map and finally knowing where you are. When I did this the first time, nothing in my bank account changed, but my mindset did. Suddenly, money wasn't this vague thing floating in the background anymore. And before we move on, if this way of looking at money feels calm and doable to you, make sure you're subscribed. This channel is all about making life lighter, not just your home, but the mental clutter that comes with it. Because tomorrow's video connects directly to what we just talked about. Once you know your 3 numbers, the next quiet shift happens naturally. You start seeing what's actually worth spending money on and what really isn't. Not extreme, not unrealistic, but the kind of choices that quietly free up money space and mental energy. It's one of those videos that makes you pause and think, oh, I don't need that either. And honestly, missing it would feel like skipping a very important piece of the puzzle. Now let's come back here, because once you've stopped feeling overwhelmed by money, the next step is learning how to actually see it clearly without making it complicated. And that's what we're doing next. Alright, let's move into the second one. Now that money already feels a little less intimidating, this is where we actually do something with that clarity. Before 2025 ends, you need to look back at your money. Not to judge it, not to fix it, just to see it. Because if you don't look back now, you'll walk straight into 2026 carrying the exact same patterns and the same quiet stress without realizing it. Here's the simple version of this step. Open your bank app and scroll. That's it. Scroll through the past few months or the whole year if you can. Don't categorize, don't add things up, just notice. Where did your money actually go? What shows up again and again? When I did this for the first time, I expected it to feel uncomfortable. But instead, I was surprised by how grounding it felt. Seeing everything laid out removed the mystery. And once the mystery was gone, the self-blame softened too. I could finally say, oh, this is what's been draining me. This step creates a real domino effect. One quick look helps you spot the things that quietly make money feel exhausting. The habits, the recurring charges, the months that always feel tighter than others. You don't have to solve any of it today. Awareness alone already lightens the load. And there's a reason this matters before 2026. A new year doesn't magically reset old patterns. If you don't look back, now next year will feel familiar, in the worst way, busy, rushed, and financially unclear. But when you take this moment to reflect, you walk into the new year more prepared than you think. So take 5 minutes, scroll, notice, and ask yourself one simple question. What part of my money is actually making me tired? And now that you've seen that clearly, let's move on to the next one waiting for you. Because the next step is about removing the quiet drains you probably didn't even realize were there. Time for the next one, and this is where we actually start clearing space. Let's start with this truth. Every subscription you're not using isn't just costing you money, it's costing you mental energy. It's one small unfinished decision that sits quietly in the background of your mind. And in the US, this is incredibly common. Streaming services apps, memberships, free trials, we meant to cancel later. Almost everyone has at least one. When I first did this, I thought I'd just save a little money. What surprised me was how much lighter I felt after. I canceled one thing, just one, and I remember thinking, why does this feel like such a relief? It wasn't about the dollars, it was about closing a loop. Here's how to do this without overthinking it. Open your subscriptions list or your bank statement. Don't review everything. Don't try to be efficient. Just pick one subscription you haven't used in months. One you slightly avoid thinking about. Cancel it. That's it. This tiny action creates a domino effect. Once you cancel one, it becomes easier to cancel the next. And more importantly, you start to trust yourself again. You stop feeling like money is leaking in ways you can't control. And here's the interesting part. Once you've done this, many people realize something unexpected. They weren't actually as tight on money as they thought. Some of the stress came from these quiet drains adding up month after month unnoticed. This step isn't about cutting joy or being strict. It's about removing things that no longer serve you, the same way you would declutter a drawer that's full of items you never use. So take 5 minutes today. Cancel one thing. Notice how it feels. That small sense of completion matters more than you think. And now that we've cleared some of that financial clutter, let's move on to the next one waiting for you. Because this is where many people suddenly realize they might actually have more room than they thought. Alright, let's talk about the next thing, because this part usually surprises people. Let's start here. Ending the year with extra money doesn't automatically mean you did well. I know that sounds strange, but stay with me. A lot of people finish the year, see some money sitting there, and they think, okay, I guess I'm doing fine. But at the same time, they still feel uneasy, still cautious. Still, money is something they need to keep an eye on all the time. I was the same way. I'd have money left over, but it didn't feel reassuring. It just felt stuck. Like it was there, but I didn't really know what it was for. And the moment I realized that, I was honestly surprised by myself. I thought having extra money was the goal, but without intention, it didn't actually make me feel any calmer. Here's the shift I want you to try. If you end the year with money left over, pause and ask one simple question. What is this money supposed to do for me? If there's no clear answer, that's where the discomfort comes from. Money without a role just sits there and quietly creates uncertainty. This is where the domino effect kicks in. Once you give leftover money a purpose, even a small one, it stops feeling like something you're afraid to touch. It becomes supportive instead of stressful. You don't need to move it yet. You don't need to invest it or spend it. Just recognizing that it needs a job changes how you relate to it. And this is why the real issue isn't whether you have extra money or not. It's whether your money is placed intentionally. When money has no place, it takes up mental space. When it has a role, it starts working for you quietly in the background. So if you're ending the year with some money left over and still don't feel settled, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just missing one small step, understanding where that money actually belongs. And now let's move on to the next one waiting for you, because once you see that it's not about having more or less money, the next step is figuring out where your money is actually sitting and whether it makes sense for your life right now. Okay, let's keep going because this next one connects directly to what we just talked about. If leftover money without a purpose feels uncomfortable. This is why too much cash sitting around can feel exactly like a cluttered home. Nothing is technically wrong, but everything feels messy. You walk into a room and there's stuff everywhere, not broken, not trash, just things with no clear place. That's what unassigned cash does to your mind. I used to think the safest thing was to keep as much money in cash as possible. And on the surface, that sounds responsible. But over time, I noticed something strange. The more money I had sitting there without a plan, the more tense I felt. I didn't know what I was allowed to use, what I should protect, or what I was saving for. I was surprised by myself when I realized the money wasn't calming me, it was adding noise. Here's the simple way to think about it. In your home, the things you use every day stay within reach. The things you don't need right now get stored away properly. Money works the same way. Cash you need soon should be easy to access. Money you don't need immediately shouldn't just sit there taking up mental space. This small shift creates a domino effect. Once you start seeing money as something that needs a place, not just an amount, decisions get easier. You stop second-guessing yourself every time you spend. You stop feeling like you might be making a mistake just by using your own money. You don't need to move anything today. Just notice. Look at your cash and ask, does this all need to be here right now, or is some of it just sitting here because I haven't decided where it belongs yet? That question alone starts to organize your money the same way decluttering organizes a room. And now that you can see how money without structure creates mental clutter, let's move on to the next one, waiting for you. Because the next step is all about how to actually make your money feel organized and calm again without adding more work to your life. And with that, we approach the next one, and this is the first very concrete action in this list. After talking about mindset and clarity, this is where things get practical. Create one separate account that exists for one purpose, only paying your fixed bills. Rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, phone, internet, anything that shows up every single month. This changed everything for me. I didn't expect it to feel so impactful, but I was honestly surprised by myself when I set this up. The constant low-level anxiety around, did that bill go through, or do I have enough left before the next charge, just disappeared. I wasn't thinking about bills all the time anymore because they had their own place. Here's how simple this is. You don't need a fancy bank or a new system. Just open a basic checking account. Add up your fixed monthly bills, round up slightly, and transfer that amount into this account once a month or automatically if you can. Then, set all those bills to pull from that one account. That's it. This creates a powerful domino effect. Once bills are contained, your main account feels calmer. The money you see there is actually yours to use, save, or decide about, not money that's half spoken for. You stop doing mental math every time you swipe your card. You stop holding your breath around due dates. This isn't about being strict or controlling. It's about removing noise. Bills are predictable, so let them live in a predictable place. You don't have to set everything up today. Even starting with just your biggest bills makes a difference. That one small structural change can make your entire financial life feel more manageable. And now that you don't have to constantly remember or track your bills in your head, let's move on to the next one waiting for you. Because the next step is about checking in with your money regularly without turning it into another chore. Up next, we have the next thing because this step is what makes the system actually stick. Now that your bills have their own account, you don't have to think about them every day anymore. But that doesn't mean you never look at your money. What you need instead is one fix-it day each month to check in briefly, calmly, and without pressure. This is not a budgeting session. This is not a money meeting. This is just a check-in. When I first tried this, I thought 15 minutes can't possibly be enough. But I was honestly surprised by myself. It was enough because the goal isn't to fix anything. The goal is to stay oriented, to know where things stand so money doesn't slowly drift back into something you avoid. Here's how simple this looks in real life. Pick one day, maybe the day after you get paid or the first Saturday of the month. Put it on your calendar and treat it like brushing your teeth. Non-dramatic, non-negotiable. Then, when that day comes, you do just 3 things. You look at your balances, you check that bills are cleared, you notice if anything feels off. That's it. No spreadsheets, no judgment, no I should be doing better. This small habit creates a powerful domino effect because when you look regularly, money stops building up emotional weight. There's no big reveal, no panic moment, no guilt spiral. You catch things early, not because you're being strict, but because you're present. What changed most for me wasn't my numbers. It was my relationship with money. I stopped feeling like I had to get ready to look. I could just look. And that sense of calm carries into the rest of the month. If 15 minutes feels like too much at first, start with 5. Even opening the app and taking a breath counts. Consistency matters far more than duration. And now that you're checking in regularly and actually seeing your money clearly, let's move on to the next one waiting for you, because the next step is about giving your money a clear job so it stops floating around in your head. The next point brings us to the next one, because this is where clarity turns into real momentum. Now that you're checking your money regularly, this step connects directly to that habit, set up automatic. Saving the moment your paycheck hits. Not later, not if there's money left, right away. This is such a common thing in the US, and for good reason. When saving is automatic, it stops being emotional. You're not negotiating with yourself every month. You're not waiting to feel ready. The decision is already made. When I first did this, I told myself it barely counted. It was a small amount, honestly, just $50. I remember thinking, this won't make a difference. But I was surprised by myself again. What changed wasn't the number, it was the feeling. For the first time, saving didn't require effort. It just happened. Here's how to do it in the simplest way. Go into your bank app and set up an automatic transfer that happens the same day you get paid. Pick an amount that feels almost too easy, something you won't miss. The goal here isn't to be impressive, it's to be consistent. This creates a powerful domino effect. Once saving happens automatically, the money you see in your main account feels clearer. You stop wondering how much you should save because it's already done. And when you do your monthly check-in, you're no longer starting from zero, you're building from something. What really shifted for me was trust. I stopped feeling like I had to be on top of things all the time. My system was doing part of the work for me. If $50 feels like too much, make it $25. If that still feels like too much, start with $10. The amount doesn't matter nearly as much as the action. You can always adjust later, but starting now changes how you relate to money immediately. And once your money starts moving on its own, the next question naturally comes up. What am I actually saving for? And that's exactly what we're getting into next. So let's move on to the next one waiting for you. Finally, let's come to the last one, and this is where everything you've done so far finally comes together. Before stepping into 2026, choose one financial goal for the year ahead. Just one. Not because you can't handle more, but because clarity matters more than ambition here. When money has already been weighing on you, trying to fix everything at once usually adds pressure instead of relief. And for busy women, that pressure is often what makes good intentions quietly fade. I've learned this from experience. The years I tried to improve every part of my finances at the same time were the years I felt the most scattered. I was always working on my money, yet never feeling settled. When I finally chose one clear direction, something changed. my attention stopped splitting. Decisions felt calmer. I knew what actually mattered going into the year. Here's how to choose that one goal in a grounded, realistic way. Ask yourself, if this one thing felt more stable by the end of 2026, what would change in my everyday life? Not on paper, but on a normal day. Less checking, less stress, less mental noise. That goal might be paying off one specific debt. It might be building a buffer so unexpected expenses don't throw you off balance. It might be staying consistent with saving even if the amount is small. The right goal isn't the most impressive one, it's the one that brings the most relief. Write that goal down in one simple sentence. No complicated plans, no backup goals, just one clear direction. When money has a direction, it stops pulling you in every direction at once. You don't need to have everything figured out before 2026. You just need one steady anchor, something your money can move toward quietly while the rest of your life keeps going. And with that, you've done enough for today. And just to recap before you go, today wasn't about fixing your finances or doing everything right. It was about clearing a little space, putting a few simple systems in place, and letting your money feel quieter as you move into 2026. And once you've done that, the next shift becomes almost unavoidable. You start questioning what's actually worth your money going forward. That's exactly what tomorrow's video is about. In Some Things I'm Not Buying in 2026, Minimalism and Saving Money. I'll walk you through the things I'm intentionally leaving behind next year, not to restrict myself, but to protect my energy, my space, and my peace. It's one of those videos that changes how you look at everyday spending, and honestly, it's a really important follow-up to what we did today. So, if you're trying to step into 2026 feeling lighter, not just organized, but intentional, you won't want to miss it. I'll see you there tomorrow.